Okay, so I'm back. And like most times when I make my videos, I will just get into video mode only, and I will just make videos back to back to back, like 3 on average most times, sometimes 2. But here's something I really want to understand, and it would be really nice if someone could explain this to me, because I'm really confused. Excuse me, I'm really confused about this aspect of people's mindset. So I remember, what's wrong with my throat all of a sudden? I remember a few weeks ago I posted something on my YouTube. I'm sure it was posted also on my Facebook, because I always post them all over my social medias. So I posted this video. I think it was about Amari. Yes, it was about Amari. Right? And it was the video of her really disgracing her daughter. If you haven't watched it, it's on my YouTube, and it's also somewhere in my history of my posting for the last few weeks. Now someone commented under this video, and she was really arguing. She wrote me an epistle, right, in the comment section. Well, a few. She commented about, I would say, at least 5 or 6 times, right, under that one video. And basically she was defending Amari for having treated her daughter that way, because they were basically saying, and she wasn't the only one, there were a few persons in the comment section who were saying, yeah, I don't know the history of that little girl, and she is this and she is that, and God knows what. But I didn't care what they were saying about that part of it, right? It was the part about when she said, this one particular woman who commented like 6 times, she was just adamant that I was making this video, this particular video in question, for views. You see, it's really mind-boggling, because I don't know who on this planet Earth, is gonna make a video and do it without expecting views. I don't know how you can make a video or a post, whether it's a comment or in writing or in video form, where you recorded it and you're talking. Who on this planet, that's the $1 million question right now that I am asking. Who on this planet does videos, right, or create these contents, these videos, without expecting people to view them? I mean, I would love for someone to explain the logics behind it. How are people expected to view your content and see your message and see what you're about in the video? I am so confused as far as that is concerned, because it's the reason why I'm making this video also is because this is something I see all the time. People are saying, oh, you're just doing it for views. Oh, you're just doing that for views. While that might be true in some cases, yeah, where a lot of people come out on the internet and they do all kinds of crazy things that really don't make sense. And then you say, okay, well, it's a no-brainer. In that case, in those cases, yes, people are doing it because they just want the views and they want to stand out. So they go, to these extremes, something I talk about all the time. In my when I make these contents, I always talk about this. They come out on these and make these videos that are just so, I wouldn't even say, how do I put it? They make these videos that are just on some different levels, where they go to some extremes. Sometimes they do it very subtly. Sometimes they're just like hardcore. They come out, they do all these crazy ass things, and Of course, because they want the view, they want the engagement. Whether it's a positive engagement or a negative one, they want that engagement, because engagements on social medias pay, essentially, right? So they know that when they do these crazy ass things, they get the attention. Sometimes they get, most times they get a lot of popularity, which is also another thing that just blows my mind, how people just come out. They don't have real talents. They're doing some kind of, I don't know, contents that are not even worth people's while, but okay, I guess everyone's to each his own. But they do these things, and definitely you can tell when most times you can tell when someone's doing a video or making a content, and with the nature, right? The nature of the content, you can tell easily if you are reasonable, right, with your thinking. And if you're a critical thinker, you might be able to decipher if, okay, this person is really just doing it for the likes or whatnot. And I'm very good at that. I feel like I'm kind of an expert on that. But okay, self-praise is no recommendation, they say. But sometimes I differ. I beg to differ. But anyways, this person was saying, I am just, why did I record? Basically, she was saying, why did you record only some parts of the video and not post the whole thing so they could see and how it started and all of that? Well, that kind of could make sense. I could see where she's coming from that. But for her to be saying, oh, I'm just doing it for the views. And when people just get up and say, oh, you're doing it for the views, or you're using someone's name for clout, how else am I supposed to make a video and not, and be able to get it through to you without you viewing it? Whether you're going to read something, like I said, or you're going to listen and watch at the same time. How else am I going to, if it's not through views? I think these social medias, when they were being created, they were intended for people to watch. It's social networking. That's what they really are, essentially. That's what they basically are. So how am I going to not make videos? And so I'm going to get up and say, okay, I'm making this video, but then I really don't want no views for it. So how does it make sense, though? Wouldn't it be just easier for you not to make the video than just do it and not in return expect some kind of viewership? If we're talking in terms of that, like, I just want it to make sense. Because this is just something that a lot of people, it's just so catchy. A lot of people just come on and say, oh, it's just for the views. They don't really sit and think for themselves and try to understand someone's message and someone's point that they're pointing out for making a content or for doing something in the content. I was making a very valid point, something I talk about all the time on here. And that is why I was doing that video. This is not something I typically would do, because I come up with most times with my own original contents, and I speak on things that I've either experienced or, just things that are basically I'm just curious about, or the first thing on my mind, or something like that. Or, I would just love to get some feedback on. Sometimes I just have questions on here. How can you just say, oh, it's just for the views? Sometimes some people on the internet, including myself, actually make contents with not just viewership in mind. It sucks when you don't get viewership. That I can tell you, it does. But at the same time, my intentions behind making my videos and putting out these contents that I've been putting out for almost 5 years, I am not doing it with a motive of just viewership. I come with real substantial things. Either I'm motivating in my videos, I'm educating in my videos, I'm reacting, which is what I've been doing recently. It's not something I've always been doing, and it's not something that I do very often, but I either react to a video, or I'm doing commentary on a video, or I'm trying to empower someone, and I'm using myself, or I'm trying to inspire, motivate, all of that stuff. uplift. These are really what my if anyone's being honest, these are mostly what my contents are about. My personal development, personal growth, however you want to call it. Personal growth. Okay? So when you're going to say, and when many times people are just saying this without sitting down and looking and like examining what is in front of them before they come with the conclusion that, oh, you're just doing it for views. So I'm just doing it because I want the views, because that's why I'm talking about Amari and the situation. And the point that I was trying to make is just for the views. No, it's not, honey. Well, there are millions of people out there like that on the internet who are doing things for views, for the viewership. Yes, that might be true in many cases, but I'm sorry to tell you, but I'm just not one of those people. I come on here with real intentions, and I put a lot of work into my contents when I make them over these years. I put in a lot of work. Am I being rewarded for that? No, not necessarily. Am I reaching people? Which is the bottom line here for me, which is what essentially is what I want to happen, to reach people. How am I expected to reach people if they're not going to view my shit? How am I gonna get through to them if they don't view my contents when I make them? Even if it's just one person or two person. I know I don't have people who are like really following my thing, but whatever. When the time is right, I will still do it. But that's not really what this is about. I just want someone to explain to me how that actually works for someone to make contents like myself and not expect views without someone accusing you or pointing fingers like, oh, you're just doing it for the views. You're just doing it for the views. Like, don't you see the point I'm trying to bring across? If some people's heads are not so hard, right, and they would use their brains to think and try to understand, because I don't think when I make these contents, I'm that confusing for someone not to get the point of what I'm saying. Yes, sometimes I'm repetitive. Quite a few times, many times I'm repetitive, right? I'll own that. Okay, fine. But I'm sure people still get the idea of what I'm trying to say. And for the most part, my thing has been consistent. I have been for the last 4 to 5 years. That is what my pages are about. Lifestyle, positive lifestyle. Eating healthy foods, which those come under the same umbrellas, right? Eating healthily, taking care of your body, your mind, your spirit, your soul, whatever. And that's what I've been about. And I am sorry if I'm going to offend anybody, but I don't know how else to reach people if it's not through posting my contents. I don't know how I'm going to do that. So if I'm going to be called out for just wanting views or doing it for the viewership motive behind it, I don't know what else to say. I don't. And if someone can explain that to me, I'd be happy to hear that. And another point that I would like to just bring across is that this whole clout thing, right? Now, when someone says you're doing or putting out a content for clouts, okay. So it means that you're trying to get some kind of fame or some kind of viewership off of someone else's name, for example. So when I say, in this case, I was talking about Amari and her disgusting behavior on the internet from time to time. And I still will say, I don't care if she's popular. I don't care if she has, if she's an artist. I really don't care about none of that. I will still say what I have to say, and I will still stand to my point, right? How am I going to say, for example, make a video and I'm talking about this particular person? Why is it not okay for me to use the person's name in my title at the top? Why is it such a problem if I was talking about Amari and I say, for example, or Amari is someone to this day who disgusts me. Or if I want to say, why does Amari have to continue to behave like this? What would be wrong with using a heading like that? Because I know there are clickbaits, and I don't necessarily like clickbaits because clickbaits are very deceiving. Clickbaits will show you something in the head of the title, or even as a thumbnail. They will show you something that's completely different than what the video is about, and the headings are completely different. While I understand, I don't necessarily like clickbaits because a lot of times they waste my time, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. They waste time. It's misleading, has nothing to do with what the actual content is about or what the message is actually about, but they show something else. And it's really annoying. But in the same breath, I do understand that it's strategy that people are using. It's all strategy. Because, of course, they're driving traffic. So they use that kind of strategy. I don't necessarily like it. I've never really done that. But it's something that people use all the time. And I can understand. I can understand why. Right? So, with that being said, I am trying to say that I should be able to put someone's name without going for clouts. I'm talking about Amari, or I'm talking about Eugenia Cooney. I should be able to put their names because that's what my video is about. I should be able to include their name, injected somewhere in the headlines or in the topic. I see absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I wish people would just stop sometimes and just stop with these catchy phrases. It's just these cliches that people just catch on every day. It's just so pick up lines. Yeah. Oh, it's just for views. Oh, it's this. Oh, you're doing it for clout. Some of them don't even know what the heck they're talking about. They don't even watch the content, try to understand, open up their brain box and try to receive what is being served to them. Right? But they're just saying, oh, it's clout, it's this, it's that. And they know not what the hell they are talking about. And that is really annoying for me because, not because people are always saying it and, it's just something people say these days. It means you just have to use it because that's all some people are doing. They are just using it and they don't know what they are talking about. I don't see anything wrong with me talking about someone, whether they're popular or unpopular. It shouldn't be a problem if I use someone's name because my video is about this particular person and I'm using this particular person's name. So because they're popular, I'm going to say, oh, no. I'm not going to use their name because then it's going to seem like I'm doing it for clout. Okay, well then, honey, I'm sorry to burst your bubble. And I'm sorry to cramp your style because I'ma do it. Not everybody is manipulative like in that way. Not everybody is. And I just wish people, it's another thing that I always used to talk about. Don't talk about it so much anymore, but I used to always emphasize about people not using their brains and not being able to think for themselves. Because they're moving with the masses. And they're just bandwagonists. If it's one thing anybody can say about me, is that I'm no bandwagonist. I'm not jumping onto no bandwagon. Okay? So, if you don't know what the heck you're talking about, please go educate yourself and then come back. Thank you.